So let's now look at how can we really take care of uncertainty, or how do we do a management of uncertainty. Like at the beginning, a couple of you people also shared that this is something which is beyond our control, something which is so mighty, so huge, that we alone or even collectively, one community cannot alone cannot handle this kind of situation. And that's why uh, sometimes we have to be prepared about the uncertainty. So there are three different ways to look at how can we manage uncertainty, and I have just segregated them. Can we do something about it? Can we manage uncertainty ahead of time? Or when the uncertainty has hit you and you have acknowledged that now my resources are scarce compared to what I am up to, whether can I do something right in the middle when I'm hit by uncertainty, or can we do something after uncertainty? So I would like to have your thoughts again on this slide, on these three different situations or three different phases of uncertainty. I'll just stop here for a while and we'll take your inputs. Utilizing our experience, we can do relatively a better job compared to if it was not planned at all. So, planning is something that we keep on doing. And then, of course, when you are in the middle of something, middle of uncertainty, let's say, where unpredictable things are happening around you, you are even not able to comprehend or understand what's going on here and how it's going to impact, how long it's going to stay. There are few things that you can also do right in the middle. And then, of course, once the storm passes away, okay, just imagine a heavy rain shower or a thunderstorm or a cloud burst that happens. When it passes away, and then things come to standstill, everything seems like normal, or at least the thunderstorm or the rain, the cloud burst has gone away. Then comes the situation where when people start getting back into their senses. So that is called recovering from uncertainty. So uncertainty, when you recognize that yes, this is something which is coming or looming large on my head, there are things that you can do even before it has started becoming very intense. Again, we will not talk very political here, but in some news channels or even in some foreign medias, we have seen report about how India has done better when it came to handling this COVID-19 situation. And I am not taking side of government here. Government has done its part, but at the same time, there are lots of people who contributed, just like we all are contributing to BYST as a social cause. They also contributed for the social cause. They did some great job. There were people, there were so many success stories, and then that has actually helped, to control the damage. So on one hand, you can't even predict how much damage it is going to cause. You cannot even quantify. But then whatever you had in your hand, whatever resources that you had in your hand, you converted that into some meaningful use and try to control the damage. So that's what you can do in the middle of the uncertainty. And then of course, after uncertainty is over, when you certify that okay, now things are getting back to normalcy, there are few things that still needs to be done. Okay, because every uncertainty causes some or the other kind of change. It breaks the pattern and it gives birth to something very, very new. And that's what is that's what has to happen after uncertainty. So let's try to look at that. So ahead of uncertainty, when you are still not gravely and seriously hit by uncertainty, but you have a faint idea. If you remember the definition which I displayed in the first slide, you still have a faint idea what's coming, but you are still not hit very hard. What you can do is you can make wise and intelligent use of the whatever facts is available to you, the data. And today's world is all driven by data and information, so that's easily available. It is available systematically also. And of course, all of us have a great life experience. Again, at whatever age, in terms of number of years that you have walked on this planet, you have accumulated lot of experience. Put all of that facts, data, information and experience, put it to use to make sure that okay, this is going to be my counter plan to this. First thing first, you probably would look at that okay, these are the things that I need to make sure that I am not seriously impacted. First you secure yourself, and then start to secure your surroundings from any kind of damage that it may cause. Huh. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. Then building the collective strength and stamina. Now once you have secured a few things around you, now you have to move into collective strength and stamina. If you think that okay, I have secured myself, or I have secured my family, or I have secured my building, and that is enough, then it will be very selfish and very very disastrous thinking, let me tell you. Because if you think in a pandemic like situation, again if you were to take a reference of the recent pandemic, if you think that okay, if I just put on the mask and take care of sanitize my hands regularly, then I am safe. No, it's not going to keep you safe for a longer duration. You have to build that collective strength and stamina. In this situation, probably many of us would have educated our children, or the people in surrounding, about the importance of maintaining the hygienic standards, and also educating them about importance of wearing the mask, and also telling our elders not to step out of home because of because they were more vulnerable, or even with the people who were having comorbid conditions, probably we have done that also. So it's all about building the collective strength and stamina. If you just think that okay, I have secured that I'll be safe, like I can be in a bunker like situation, like the in the at the border area there are lots of bunkers around. So if you are just feeling that okay, I have built my own cocoon or bunker where I will be very safe, and I have accumulated enough ration for me, and that will go on for several days, and situation will come to normal, then probably everybody is thinking like that, and that's not going to help to for this pandemic to go away. You have to build collective strength and stamina, and that's why, like I mentioned about how world has applauded our collective effort as a nation. It's not about only government, by the way. If people had not cooperated in the initial days, then of course there were scattered incidents where people were not cooperating. There were violation of the pandemic guidelines. We have also seen the stories of corruptions happening in some hospitals or testing laboratories and those kind of, but those were very scattered. But collectively, if you look at it, I think we really capitalized and garnered that strength and stamina, both in terms of maintaining the physical wellness, our financial well-being, and also the psychological. So if you look at it, I think in a broad picture, I think we have done a great job, and that's what you can do ahead of uncertainty, which can actually probably could have hit you very hard. Just before it really started peaking in India, we had also seen or heard about the incidents how things were really going out of control. Even the prime minister of one European country, Italy, he resigned to the cause that this is something which is beyond his control, or his government cannot do, and he kind of left people on their fate. Whereas here we learn from these lessons. So point number one is applicable here. Experience, not just our experience, but experience of others also, how things went really bad. And if we utilize that experience and declared the lockdown and people started cooperating with that, I think that really helped us to control the damage. Then look at the multiple possibilities. Prepare for multiple possibilities. First possibility is to really look at survival. Then also look at hibernating and suspending few things. Like we were compelled by law, because lockdown was prevailing. We were compelled here to stay within certain guidelines or under the rules. That also meant that we had to stop our economic activity. That's what hibernating means. We also had to stop on certain other activities. We were not stepping out. We were also trying to rely as much as we could that we had in our homes or within our surroundings. We also had to suspend certain services because that was not allowed anyways because during the lockdown. So when you are going through or when you are ahead of certainty, you also have to look at all these possibilities that okay, survival, what is it that I'm going to do for my survival. If I were to hibernate for let's say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, what is it that I'm going to take care of? So if you are planning ahead of time before the uncertainty hits you hard, one thing that I would like to clarify here is that although we are talking about on this slide, we are talking about ahead of uncertainty, it does not necessarily mean that it is 3 months ahead of uncertainty or 3 years ahead of uncertainty. It is about just consider that it is in the early days of uncertainty. Okay, because uncertainty is uncertainty, it's going to hit you without any warning. You just have started getting that tinkling or faint idea that something is really coming. Okay, but it is not yet in your full experience. That's why it is not really much ahead of uncertainty. It is about early days of uncertainty. All right.